Okay, it is 7:02 by my clock, so I'm going to get started. I'd like to welcome you to. Can I ask everyone to mute, please, because I hear somebody's TV. Thank you. Welcome you to our second SCORE Bucks County Sips and Tips series. This series is being presented by SCORE Bucks County by one of our certified mentors who is also the diversity and inclusion champion for SCORE Bucks County. Marissa Bloedoorn has a master's in organizational psychology. She's got a million degrees here. She's an executive leadership coach. She has her own business. She's a published author, Toastmaster, and a paid public speaker. And she has been with SCORE Bucks County for a little over, I guess, a year and a half now, and has stepped up to the plate to help us with our diversity and inclusion initiative in the chapter. So a little bit, if you will allow me a few minutes to talk about SCORE Bucks County. For those of you who may not be familiar with us, we're a national nonprofit organization. We have some 350 chapters all over the country and roughly 13,000 members. We have a very, very simple mission, and that is to help small business get started, grow, and prosper. We are a resource partner of the Small Business Administration. We have offices in all over the county, and recently have taken over parts of eastern Montgomery County. So we serve a very wide area. We do our mission by seminars like this, which thanks to COVID, we're all virtual, and we're having multiple seminars a month. So there's a lot of great information being distributed each month during the day. At night, we experiment with the time frames. And we also do this through mentoring services. So if you're interested in getting a mentor to help you walk through the steps of starting your own business, please look us up at buckscounty.score.org, and we'll be happy to help you. So with that said, I'm going to turn the program over to Marissa Bloedoorn so that she can introduce our featured speaker for tonight. Marissa?
Thank you so very much, Linda, for a wonderful introduction. First of all, I want to take a pause and say, does everyone have their drinks?
Yes.
Everyone have their drinks. This setup is designed for us to relax, to get to know one another in the sense of networking. So if you got my email this evening, I did encourage you to share in the chat your information, your business, your name, your contact information, whatever you feel comfortable with, because it is designed for us to get to know each other. As Linda said, I am the diversity champion. I want to share the new resource that SCORE has for Black businesses, Black entrepreneurs. That is a resource that has just been recently added to our website, along with other diversity training and development programs that we have offered to you. So I'm really excited about tonight because it's all about money matters and pricing. And so we have this evening with us Alberto Casadei, and I'm really excited about him because he has a heart for our mentees. He has a heart for our the people that we serve. The areas in which Alberto has his expertise is in business financing, accounting, business strategies planning, manufacturing, product development, business operations, technology, and IT services. He assists our mentees in business startups, strategy planning, developing business plans and proposals. And tonight he's going to shine brightly with money matters and pricing. And without further ado, I'd like to bring Alberto Casadei to the stage.
Thank you very much, Marissa. I selected pricing for a simple reason. Over the several mentoring sessions that I had, I found that many of our small business owners struggle with the issue of pricing. Decisions made on fear of losing business, not doing the necessary research and homework, and even a lack of understanding their own profitability. And this is a major problem in terms of ensuring sustainable, profitable business. So, and that's why I decided to focus on price, since it's one of the most important levers for profitability. So the presentation, I'm going to talk about price and strategy, and then we have a break for discussion on two simple questions on if you know the range of the price range for your products, number one, and number two, what is the how often do you update prices? So I hope that with the business people participating here will be able to contribute to that. So before I start, I also thought of having a small poll to really understand who were here participating. I'm not sure how meaningful it's going to be with a small group, but Charlie? So I appreciate if you could just answer those three questions and make a selection, one item.
All right, I like the participation.
Charlie, is that done now? Okay, so these are the results. I'm glad to see that we have a mix of startup and operations. And the last time price was increased was 2% and none. And the third question is if you increase price by 1%, what's the impact on profit on average? And there is a McKinsey report many years ago that evaluated the economics of an average of 3,000 companies in the US, and the answer is 11%. So the point is to make sure that there is a good understanding that a small change in price makes a significant impact on profitability. And so this is one point, and confirm that indeed the price is an important lever in terms of profitability. Thank you, Charlie. So let's start with price, and I'm going to start with the common mistakes made in pricing. Number one, I think it's very prevalent that people just guess pricing and go by the gut feel, and perhaps knowing what others are pricing. They do not do the necessary research in the market and competition that because that gives them perhaps at least a range in which they need to be close. Not having a clear understanding of their own financials, if you don't have it, it's going to be very difficult to work out a price that is meaningful and can lead you to be a profitable business. Pricing is too low because again, you are concerning in keeping clients, customers, and so on. Or the price is too high, then you are afraid of losing business. Also, very important that you don't understand the true value that you are delivering. And therefore, you're underselling this important component that can support the high prices. And lastly, ignoring customer feedback, either in product, price, or value proposition. So these are some of the common mistakes, and I hope by the end of this, at least I address some of those points. So price, again, it's a very important issue for business, and price is what you pay, and value what you get. And price is determined not by the person that is established the price, but the person that is willing to pay. It's very important to make sure that we understand that price, again, very important lever in profitability. And your price really is a megaphone in terms of communication. It communicates to your customer several things, that your brand, the quality of your products, the uniqueness of your product, your value, the availability, and so on. And going back to price and value, there is a strong correlation, because it's very clear that a product that brings value can demand a higher price, and people are willing to pay for higher price. And I think we are going to, through this material, and at the end, establish a process in which you'll be able to establish an ideal price that captures value that you bring to your product, bring back to you in terms of higher profitability. So the way that marketing is done is called the 4P marketing mix, in which for each target, there is a product identified that meets the specific customer needs and the requirements of that specific market. There is a price established for that market. There is a set of promotions, how you're going to promote how you're going to position your product in that market, and place, that means that where is this product going to be available for the customers in that market. So those 4 items work in synchrony, and they have to be consistent. And that's why you see in many cases that price is not constant. Price varies depending on the target market and how the market mix works. So if you see the price for even the most trivial things, a McDonald's in Europe has a price structure completely different from what is here. The products may include wine because you're in Europe, but the price is also significantly higher because of this, the way this works in terms of the marketing mix. So the bottom line, a price is not a single entity, that is constant. It is vary depending on a variety of aspects. The other aspects, and I think I'm not sure if we have someone that works in product development, but the price varies depending on the product life cycle stage. The price is, as the product enter the market, the price is lower because the people wanted to get the market share at the beginning to determine the awareness of the product. Then in the growth phase, then there is a significant demand for the product. The price goes up significantly. And then after it reaches the maturity, then the price stabilizes, flattens, it's not changing as much. And as you proceed, then there are a lot more competitors entering the market because there is market. And therefore the price goes down, and the market is really being saturated, and then the sales begin to decline, and that's when the companies would either launch a revised product or a new product, and every product goes through this cycle. The length of this is depending on the market. In technology today, we perhaps have a 2-year life cycle. You know, you see how often we get a new iPhone, and that's an indication that the life cycle is getting shorter and shorter. Many companies, many products don't get out of the entry phase, because at this point the company is likely not profitable at all. And if they don't grow fast, they eventually would not proceed. And that's the product is scaled very quickly. And there is a lot of this that happens in a normal development process. The companies also are working in several different versions of new products that are coming to the market. So by the time they get to the end of maturity here, they are already preparing to launch a new one. So again, price is not unique. It varies depending on those conditions. So the pricing models, there are 3 basic models that are standard ways in which being defined. And one is cost-based, in which there isn't a lot of product differentiation. There is intensive competition, and usually is commodity-based products. The other extreme of that is value-based, in which there is little competition. The products are unique. There is nice bundle, highly differentiated, and there is tremendous flexibility in terms of price. So here you are capturing the value by having a higher price. And in between, there is the market base, in which there's greater flexibility compared to cost base. There is somewhat more differentiation of products. There is ample competition, and there is fluctuations of price depending on season. One good example of that are restaurants or hotels that near holidays, the price change completely. It's very, very high price. And once that goes, they go back to the normal price. So that's market base. And basically the whole industry use the same approach as well. So these are the 3 fundamental prices models. Let's talk about some strategy. This consultant is a part of a entrepreneur network. Ken Burke proposed this process in terms of establishing a price that I found interesting. It consists of 5 steps. First, you need to research your competition. Second, you need to know your numbers. Fundamental. Then you establish a price profile that's basically what's the sensitivity that your price has relative to the several parameters in the market. And based on that, you select a price model and then set your price. Let's walk through each of those phases, but basically the competition is the objective is to understand the range of prices. and this can provide a guidance that perhaps can help you in define your own price. So the understanding of your margin is basically understand this: revenue, direct margin. You eliminate direct cost. It gives you the direct margin, and this is basically the floor value for your price. You should not offer anything below this because you are losing money. So you are not making profit either, but this is the absolutely floor in my judgment. So this is understanding your margin, and as I've indicated in some of the problems that I've seen with my mentoring, there are people that don't understand this. So they are basically driving in blind, and sooner or later this is a problem, right? The second is establishing the profile for your price, and it's basically to address the sensitivity of your clients relative to of your price relative to competition, demand, first of a kind, uniqueness, scarcity, quality, margins, and value. And the idea is to assign a rate from 0 to 10, 0 being the worst for that particular situation, and 10 for the best, and rank all this. And so for competition, if it's a highly competitive market, then the rating is going to be 0. So the score is 0 because this is worst situation. In a low competition market, it's the best in terms of price. Demand is a high demand is a 10, a low demand is a 0. First of a kind, of course, best is the best is 10. If it's absolutely there is nothing in the market, but if there are other alternatives close to be first of a kind, then it takes somewhere between 0 and 5. Uniqueness, the same thing, and you go through this process. You added up the scores, and then you divide by 80 because there are eight parameters here, and that determines your parameter that is a sensitivity. So if you score high means there is low competition, high demand, high quality, and high margins and high value. This means that you have tremendous flexibility in setting your price. If your score is low, let's say less than 40, if it's 20, for example, you have high sensitivity for price. So this means that there is high competition, very low demand, and so on. And in that case, you have a very low flexibility to change price. Even a 1% change in price may upset your customers. So you need to be, yeah.
We have a question from Kevin DeQ, and he has a question. He says, "Give an example of nicely bundled."
Back on the previous slides where you had the pricing, you had it was the bottom tier of quintile. You had 3. You had an upper, the intensive, and the greatest. Yeah, in the bottom right, the nicely bundled. Can you give an example of that, please?
One example, it's very simple. You know, you can buy a high-end a perfume, for example, a bottle of perfume at any stores. They'll give you, its a price is X. Now, if you place that product in a nice wrapping, a nice box, and in a very nicely prepared, then you can charge more. And we see examples of this in Valentine's. You know, I go to Wegmans and they are preparing strawberries with chocolate, in a nice box for a gift. And it's very expensive, So the idea is that you can make a small change and get a higher price that gives you a larger margin.
Thank you. I thought you were referring to more of a value added, where if you had 2 or 3 pieces together.
Well, that too is another example. You can prepare a curated combination of things that ultimately the price is higher than the individuals, because you already put together what makes sense.
Thank you.
I understand. I understand there is a service, and I don't know where, but I read about it, that they offer clothing for men, that they provide a package, a shirt, a suit, and socks, ties, and everything, so they don't have to spend time making sure that they can find a match. That's another good example. But there are examples, even in very, very trivial products. For example, if you have a candle in which you place the picture of a family or of the relative that you're going to give the gift, the cost for the candle may be a dollar. You place the picture on the glass surrounded. It's a very, very simple thing, and you can sell that easily for $20. So even trivial products you are able to improve in terms of providing value.
Thank you. I didn't mean to slow the group down. I apologize.
No,
I'll raise my hand next time. Thank you.
No, that's okay. So coming back to this, this is the you calculate the rank, the score for each of the areas identified. You divide by 80, and that gives the percentage. And if is higher than 60%, this is you are in the high end of the things, and therefore you have high flexibility for prices. If you are in the low range of this, you have less flexibility. You need to be a lot more careful in terms of changing price. Your customers are much more sensitive to that. So and the next step is to then, based on this, define what's the price model you're going to use. But clearly, if you are in the high end with high flexibility, your pricing model needs to be value-based. And if you are in the low end of this range, low flexibility, you are ended up using a cost-based model. So that's a way in which you can use, at least to have some analytical assessment in how you get to that thing. But I don't mean that this is going to dictate whatever you're going to do. You need to analyze and make sure that you understand if it makes sense for if the results make sense for you and your business. So setting the right price is this. First is the total product cost that you need to calculate. And if you are in the consulting business, it's not just the rate hours that you need to have the total loaded rate that includes your indirect costs, your benefits that you provide for yourself. And if you have a company that have employees, you need to include all the indirect costs, all the benefits that you provided to them. So that's total product cost. And then profit is clearly not possible below this price. So the other side of this at the higher end is a consumer value perception. And clearly above this, demand is not possible. It reaches a point, even if you're in the high end with high flexibility, you may get to a point in which the customer said, no, this is too much for me. And therefore, you need to make sure that you understand that point so you don't go above, otherwise there'll be no demand. So this is your price range. So this is the envelope in which you are going to operate. Clearly the value perception is a price ceiling, and the total product cost is the price floor. And in between, there are internal and external factors, and you finally set your price. So, so the question is this too high or too low? There is always this question, okay? And people really recommends that you test it. Make a small adjustment. Let's say you increase the price slightly and see what happens. Because you may lose some customers, but you still may get ahead because your price is higher, demand is lower, but depends on the math of this equation. And it's possible that you may ended up ahead in terms of total sales. On the other side, you may reduce the price slightly, and again, you lose a slight price, but you may gain market share, in which case it makes sense for you to do it. So that's the way you establish what's the optimum price for you to operate. So that's experimenting is a practical way of doing it. So going back to the cost-based pricing, basically starts, you built the cost base from first the direct cost. That's the cost to produce and deliver the product or service. And that includes labor, materials, commission, royalties, packaging, whatever is required to deliver that product or service. Then you add your overhead or indirect cost, and that's basically an allocation of the cost to operate the business. And that's rent, utilities, marketing, professional, your lawyer, your accountant, insurance, and all the expenses needed for you to operate your business. And you need to find the right way to allocate this piece for that particular product. One way is to identify how many units you are planning to sell, and then divide this cost by the units that you're planning to sell, and that's the dollar per unit that you added to your direct cost. Other organizations allocate this by sales. They define that there's going to be let's say a $200,000 sales for the year, and they have the amount of indirect cost is let's say 10,000, and therefore they know for each dollar sales how much they should allocate for that product, such that at the end of the year they recover all your overhead costs. So and on top of that, there is the profit. So that is going to be your price that you're going to offer. So it's again building from the bottom. The second, the value-based pricing is basically set by on a customer perception about the benefits in terms of quality, safety, convenience, technology, brand, and so on. And examples are, the most obvious are Rolex, for example, Starbucks. Why someone pays $3 to $5 a coffee while it can walk a block and get for $1.50. But clearly they are, the perception of Starbucks clients is very different. They perceive quality, convenience. They can use the app to order. They use app to pay and a few other things. And around that, they built a brand that it's a consistent brand in terms of marketing, and the message is benefits and differentiation. So again, the marketing needs to be consistent. Again, focus on benefits and differentiation. There are other simple examples that exist that it doesn't have to be a very expensive Rolex or Mercedes cars to be value based. I used to work for a company, and we developed a software product. And this software product, we were able to quantify the benefit. And this is software that used in nuclear power plant operations. So we quantified by using this product, they'll save 10 days in the outage, in the maintenance outage. And we calculated 10 days of saving. They are saving $500,000. So we calculated that therefore we can provide you the benefit for the client, and we get about 10 or 15% of that. So we are sharing benefits. And value-based, just to be sure, it doesn't mean reduce your price so the customer get the benefit. It's you are identified benefits such that you can share, but you also gain in terms of that value that you're providing. So let's talk briefly about contract and service price, and the model is fundamentally very similar. There are time and materials basis in which the profit is fixed. There are rates for engineering, labor, and materials that are pre-approved. The customer requests the work, approve the estimates, and they just multiply by the rates, and that's the fixed profit. So there is no negotiation in terms of this is, they can negotiate in terms of how many hours things take, but not the margin in which it's being priced. And the other alternative is fixed price is a way to use the value-based pricing. You define the scopes defined by the client. The contractor prepare the cost estimates for taxes, apply profit and contingency, and that's the price that is offered for the client. Now, you need to be careful because if the client begins to change the requirements, okay, then it requires additional work for you, for which is not being planned and priced, and therefore you need to implement a very strict change control process to make sure that you account for every change that happens. In addition, it would be good for you to include commercial conditions that consider changes in laws and regulations that are beyond your control, right? You don't want to get in a situation that you provided an estimate, and then state of Pennsylvania pass a law that requires you to do additional work for which you are not being compensated. So if you have a condition in your contract that account for that, you able to recover. So there are some other contracts that include price adjustments or incentives. So looking in terms of risk, if you go from the best one is time and materials. And if you go to firm prices, the risk is on you. And that's why is you need to make sure that you control any change in scope that the client requests very closely. And that can be very damaging if you don't do that. So, and also government contracts, doing business with the government is more complex. It's an opportunity and a barrier. There are targets for business development involving small business and minorities, which I think it's good for small business, of course. But you need to understand the rules of the game. You need to get proper registration and ID for your business. You need to understand the bid requirements. You need to understand the pricing rules, and you need to understand the accounting and billing requirements that may not be what you have today. So the best way is to visit the SBA website and take a look at there. Visit the website of the agency that you are trying to get a contract, and I'm sure that there is a lot of information about what you should do and should not do. So again, be very careful, because I came across a situation that a small business owner bid, got the contract to the government, and then first time he invoiced them, he was very surprised. And there was a significant work in terms for him to upgrade his system in terms of meeting all the requirements. So again, we talk about the pricing strategy needs to be consistent with the other business plan strategies. For example, you need to avoid internal inconsistencies. For example, you're targeting a lower demographic, a lower income demographic zone area, and you go with higher prices. That doesn't make sense. The same thing if you're offering a luxurious product and you offer a low price, that is not consistent and raises a lot of questions about your offering. You need to make sure that you are consistent. And that's why that 4P model that we discuss in the marketing mix takes care of that consistency, but that's what we are trying to avoid. So as I indicated, I plan for having discussion to know and learn about your experience, if you know the price range for your products, and how often do you update prices? Anyone volunteer to start? So yes.
Now, I was going to say, I know as a mentor, many of my clients, after we talk about the price that they should charge, still can't get over that mental hurdle that they're not worth that kind of money, particularly in a consulting or service type business. So can you speak to that a little bit? How do they get over their own head, basically?
Exactly.
That I think for me, the value of this process is that you are determining, you have to understand every piece. And in the list of common mistakes is people undervalue the value that they bring to the customer. And if they do it, they are not confident in making a price decision. And by doing the research and the competition, understanding what is there, by knowing their financials, they establish the confidence necessary for them to really making decisions in price.
Absolutely.
I'm mentoring someone right now that it does landscaping. So I asked him, what is the profit margin that you had in your last proposal? He doesn't know.
Yeah. So Al, can we take a chance to just go around, since we're such an intimate group, and see who, what industries we have in the room, and also what their, but you know, what their, where they are with pricing. Guess. Cook, you
Mr.
want to go?
Cook.
I have to call on somebody.
Yeah, we're calling you out. Look, I had enough water. I could call you out. Cook, come on now. Come on.
Come on, somebody jump in.
Come
I'll
on,
go first.
Kevin.
I'll go first. This is Sharon.
All right, Sharon.
Okay, I'm going first because I have to leave soon to get on a COVID vaccination town hall with our congressperson. So that's important. But in any event, this is a startup for me, and it's a service that I'm going to be offering. And I'm having challenges with pricing because the service I'm offering, let me back up. The service I'm offering has to do with providing resources and consulting services for parents or guardians who have children or adults on the autism spectrum. So I give them resource information, etc. I would attend IEP meetings during the school, and things of that nature. My challenge is with COVID is that a lot of people are trying to put food on the table, trying to figure out whether their kids are in, how am I going to get my kids back in school, especially if I have a kid on the spectrum, because there's service challenges that they may not be getting because of COVID. So I'm thinking they have other things on their mind right now. So my pricing model, if you will, I'm pretty firm on, if you want to self-provision, you can go to my website, and for a minimal fee, you can self-provision. Where I fall into concerns is that if you have, you want me to do the services for you and serve up a package or recommendations for independent living resources, financial resources, or whatever. I know what advocates usually make, but I'm also sensitive to trying to put food on the table right now and that type of thing. So I'm kind of straddling. I took all my price information off of my website, with the exception of the information for self-provisioning and getting behind a firewall for some resource information that you find yourself that I package for you. And I said, okay, maybe I will do something like work with you, figure out where you are, and design something based on the degree of effort and customize my pricing for now. And maybe the payoff will be word of mouth based on, other people saying, did you find somebody, did they help you, whatever, and I build a business like that. Because I am sensitive to what people are going through with COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also it's your demographics. It's also your client base, those around you. And just like you said, their primary focus is food on the table. So, Sharon, you were here at the last Sip and Tips, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember you with the autism.
Yes.
So welcome back, and thank you. Before you go, did you sign up to get a mentor? Or did you?
I already have a mentor.
Okay.
I already have a mentor, and I've been talking to him.
Okay.
And we talked about the pricing thing. We talked about other things as well. And actually, one of the things that my last conversation with him was surrounding making sure that you have a client base that can afford to pay.
Yeah.
And I've talked to other people about that as well, including my son is 35 years old. My son's old resource teacher, who sent me to Montgomery County and Lower Marion. She said they got money to throw away. Her words, not mine. But in any event, so he gave me some suggestions on possibly doing targeted mailings to individuals that are in demographics that can pay, right, and have a need. So I have a lot of stuff in my head that I'm working through, but that's one of the things that I'm working through as well.
Right.
But that's what my strategy is, trying to find who can pay, who needs the resource, and being sensitive to people who need the help and may not be able to pay what I would originally have charged. And I'm trying to straddle all of that.
Right. And those are real challenges. Before you go though, can you shoot in the chat some of the topics that you would like to see covered in the sip-in tips?
Okay.
Yes,
I'll do
some
that.
of the challenges that you see that, may not be common topics that we're covering. We need to hear that from you guys, to give us those topics. But you're absolutely right. You're on the right strategy with your mentor.
Okay.
So great. And thank you so much for sharing.
Okay. And Marissa, just so you know, I only have a couple minutes before I go. So I might just respond to your email that you sent out.
Okay.
Okay.
That's perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Very good. So that's
So we have a hand raised, A Cook. I don't know your first name, but I can see it's an A. You want to share your name?
Well, the speaker of the hour and I are namesakes.
Oh, okay, Alberto.
Yeah. Well, I'm an Al, but I'm short for Alan.
Okay, all right, very good. Well, go ahead. You had your hand raised.
Yeah, I didn't want to step on his toes, so I just abbreviated. That's my challenges are not so much the pricing, because basically how I put together my pricing was I checked what my competition was doing, and if it's good for them, it's good for me, their ice isn't any colder than mine, so it is what it is. Now I did find out that the West Coast, let me explain what I do. The name of the company is Streetboard Media, and I'm an innovative mobile billboard. So I drive around on a specific route, or I can be leased for a specific event as well. But what I do is it's pretty self-explanatory. The billboard is a 12.5-foot by 6.5-foot billboard, and both sides are the same size. The rear of the truck is a 6.5 by 6.5 foot billboard, and the truck is equipped with sound, and it's digital, and it can be used in so many different ways. But how I came up with my pricing was I checked with my the West Coast industry, and I just don't believe, that's my only doubt is I don't believe I can get what they're getting. I often go to I've gone to Vegas a few times, and they're up and down the strip. That's all you see are the mobile billboards, and that's kind of where I got the idea. Now, but their pricing, they're asking and they're getting $1,200 a day for those mobile billboards. Now, I tried I have maybe 3 competitors on the East Coast in my area, so it's a relatively new idea for us on the East Coast. And I tried, I checked with my competitors, and they're getting roughly about $70 a day. So that's a big drop from what they're getting in Vegas. However, if you put together, I figure if I put together $69, the old, drop it down to 69 as a new guy on the block, I come in at $69 a day and commit them to a 28-day program. I don't like the word contract. So if I get them in a $69 a day program, that I can make enough money to operate, and my margin it's not a Vegas margin, but it's a margin where I won't lose money. I won't be losing money. I'll probably break even with one account, but the truck will hold up to 15 looping ads. So if I can fill the truck up on a monthly basis with 15 ads at $69 a day, I should be able to survive. I feel.
So Al, is that multiple ads on the one display?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. The truck will hold 15 looping ads.
Okay.
At one time. Right.
Okay. And you're saying in Vegas they get now are you saying in Vegas they get that with the multiple ads on there, or are you saying that for one ad sold that you'll get the $1,200?
Right. For one ad, they get $1,200.
Right.
$1,200. Did I say a day?
Yeah, you said a day.
Yeah.
Did I hear him right, guys? He said a day.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
So does anyone even tap into demographics and the difference?
Yeah, what you did was the market-based strategy, right? You went and looked what your competitors are doing. That gave you a range. Unfortunately, on the lower range, but I think if you get your customer and then you begin to add value, doing something different than what your competitor is doing here, doing something, and I don't know what, but then you can bring more value, and then gradually you can bring your price up.
What I did to add value was now mind you, I'm pre-launch. I'm not. I haven't invested. I haven't bought the truck. I've walked around the truck. I've driven the truck.
So you didn't do any sales, or you didn't do any testing. You didn't do any real testing, so you haven't tested yet.
Well, my website is live. I've gotten my analytics up. I've got my analytics up, to the point where I get a call a month.
Okay.
I get like one call a month, and nobody's really biting. They're just basically checking the price.
Okay.
This one call a month. They're calling to inquire now. I have them on the hook. I'm sending them things and stuff like that. I'm staying. I've got my touch points going, and that kind of thing. But I haven't been convinced enough by the response to really invest in going down and really buying this truck.
Okay.
I want to buy it. Believe me. I mean, I'm sitting here wanting to just jump on a plane and go get it, but I need more. I need a deeper sales funnel.
Yeah, that's a challenge, because if you're saying that in one area, in one location, that you're getting they're getting the $1,200 for the one ad. That's a huge difference.
That's a big difference. Yeah, for one ad.
Yeah.
Here I can get close to. I can get $69 a day for a 28-day program. It comes out to $1,932 a month, right?
Yeah.
Now, but when you do $1,932 a month, is that enough if say I get one customer? I think that one customer can at least help me make my truck payment, but I'll be breaking even.
Right.
I'll be breaking even. Now, if I can go, let's say I got a half a dozen customers at $1,932 a month times 6. That's 11,000. That's 11,500. I can gain some hope with that. $11,500 a month.
There is a cost. There is a cost that you need to build.
Yeah.
You
Right.
get 11,000 in sales, but you have a cost associated to do it.
Yes.
How much is that?
Right. Now my cost per month with you figure with the loan itself, that's going to run me about $1,100 right there a month.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why I need more. I need more than one customer, because that's going to cost me $1,100. Fuel is going to cost me close to $400 a month, maybe $500 a month for fuel. Then you have the insurances then you have to pay the operator. So, you know, my numbers are downstairs. I didn't know we were going to get deep. But
well,
you know,
we just wanted to get an idea. We just want to kind of scrape the surface of what was going on, and just to get some insight. And so,
with all those variables, you know, I'm going to need to just to break even. I'm going to need to at least if I brought in 2,500 a month, I could break even.
You don't want to break even. You want to make money.
You want to make money. You don't want to go into business to break even now.
No, you know, you want to live large and in charge. You want to make sure you're making money.
Right.
So see, that's the whole point. I gotta have enough in my funnel to keep the truck stocked. If I keep the truck stocked with at least 15 customers per month, and we're talking a whole different thing. We're talking 1932 times 15. Now we're talking 28.9. We're talking $30,000 a month.
Yeah. So do you have you Al, have you gotten to a place where you've reached out for a mentor?
I do have a mentor, and it's my fault that I have not been in touch with them. Yeah.
You need to follow up with your mentor, because there's some real in-depth details that you need to tracking, you need to do projecting, you need to do all of that, and your mentor will assist you with getting started with that, because you're starting with the numbers, but we got to get you where you're capturing all the details and all the requirements to make it a business model. Right.
But you probably know Ray Valuconis.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he's my mentor.
Good. So he'll help you out.
Yes, he will. So make sure that you follow up with him.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
I'm afraid to do anything.
But when you start working with your mentor, all of that will be taken care of.
Really? Okay.
You gotta build that relationship. So make sure that you reach out to him. He's gonna go over, everything that you need. And he's gonna give you some direct directions. Thank you so much for sharing and really being transparent. We really appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Kelvin, did you have anything that you wanted to add before we give the floor back to Al?
You know, I've seen his industry. I've traveled in every state in the United States, and he is Vegas is probably the worst metric and benchmark to start with, because it has a very dedicated pattern, and there's a high foot traffic transient effect there. So there's many of the trucks that I know what he's talking about. I've rented them at events in the past, and I do weekly buckets at a crack. So he should also look at Miami, because the tough part about the East Coast is, are you in Philadelphia, Alan?
Yeah, yes, sir.
So you tell me, when you do your DOT count, not just for cars, but for feet, what is the best spot? What I know about Philadelphia, it's South Street, right? And Henhouse.
You got it.
So where else in Philadelphia are you going to run your rig up and down? And that's a one-way road, right?
Main Street, Manioc.
Right. So, but look, just as far as scaling it, I hear your monthly program, but it's a toughie. You might want to start with a weekly program and work backwards on your expenses, because right now there's, with the current and the young lady that started out speaking about COVID-19, until people come out of their closets and come out of their houses, your business is going to be tough to scale.
Right. Well, that's the reason I put a pin in it. I was going to get the truck in March when all this stuff hit, and then when this hit, I said, whoa, better pump my brakes. So I said, I'm going to put a pin in it until, let's see what March 21 looks like. And now that we're closer to March, I'm thinking, wait a minute, we better maybe put a pin in this until somewhere around September, or maybe even 22.
Who's doing your production cost? All the EPS files for the for the rolling billboards? Are they, if I buy something, am I supposed to give you all of my content and you're just going to plug it into a computer?
You can, or we can design it for you.
But that's your expense. That to me, I'm kind of like turnkey. Here's my logo. Here's my message. You're supposed to do it for set dollars. I mean, I don't want to get off track here, but I think your timing and everything that I see, you're gonna have. I see more time, but that's just.
Yeah, and an in-depth evaluation is done with your mentor. So that's that'll be a great time to start. It'll give you some ideas. Yeah, it'll give you some leverage on what you really want to do with that, or even some other opportunities. So just connecting with your method. But thank you, Kevin, for contributing. That was great. All right, Al, take it away.
Very good. Thank you for the discussion. I think was very good. So to complete, I once again emphasizing what you need to avoid: guessing at prices, not knowing your margins. It's everything that we discussed in the earlier. Make sure that you do not forget to add value in some way. And if your price is too high, but that's why you do the test. So these are the things to avoid. So profitability also requires managing your costs, and basically the direct margin, direct net profit. You want the direct margin to be greater than 50% if possible, okay? Because that will fund all your indirect expenses and net profit. And net profit target is better than 20%. And you need to manage your cost and your price in a way that can provide this. This may be a sustainable business. If you're outside of those parameters, it's questionable. So Al, I encourage you to think in terms of margin, not revenue. And that's how you should do. And this is basically the profit and loss statement that you need to be reviewing every month. And this part of, again, know your numbers. You need to do it every month. It's not just when your accountant is available. And I have a good practice. A good practice is to put this in a plot. You see your actual numbers in a visible way. Your revenue, and now this is the problem of managing by revenue. You need to manage by net profit. In this case, the revenue is growing as it should be, but the net profit is still on the negative. So this is a good practice. You can see what's happening. It doesn't require you to go and search for data and all that stuff. And you know what's happening with your business month by month. And this requires some organization with the information, but this is simple to do it. And this is something that your accountant is not going to give you. It's up to you to make sure that you have it. So this is a good practice. I have a best practice. A best practice is you do this, but you also have a business, a plan. At the beginning of the year, you define, this is what I think I'm going to do it this year. There is a target, and then you track it according to your actuals. So anytime there is a deviation from plan, you understand, and you keep going. So now, before you didn't have a perspective of the end of this. Now you have. If you follow your plan, then you are going to get 200,000 that year. So this is something that Marissa mentioned a couple of times, the projection. This is the projection that you need to make. What your business is going to be this year, and then track every month. There are some people that I've seen that they are go 3 or 4 months without looking at this data because their accountant doesn't give them. The accountant is busy with the tax season, this and that, and they don't have it. So they are basically navigating blind. And this is something that you can do yourself with a spreadsheet with minimum functions. You can do this. So this is very important. So you understand, you take proactive actions. You see that things are not going the right direction, then you perhaps do some more marketing. Maybe you reduce some costs and in a way that you can affect the outcome. You need to be proactive in managing, and you need to do this every month. If you leave a couple months and then you try to understand what happened 6 months ago, forget it. This is called forensic analysis. You don't have time for it. So that's all I had. I thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
So do we have any questions? Thank you so much, Al. That was a great, excellent presentation and brought up some excellent conversation. So do we have any questions or?
No, later, if they have something that pops in their mind that they want to know, and this is my contact information.
There's the simplistic process of just taking costs of goods. Obviously, you spoke about all of your admin and all of your back-end expense. But if you just work off your costs of goods sold and you keystone it, have you seen that be a hole that people have? I mean, obviously it's expense control, but you know, I'm looking at a very fundamental startup, and I've done all of my business plan, my P&L, my balance sheet. I think I'm tight, but I'm just, the tough part I'm struggling with is knowing it, capturing and having my arms around all of my expenses, because they escalate in a startup, and then obviously you need to have real good accountant. But is keystoning too basic? You know, taking it times 2 on your cost of goods sold. Have you seen that be a problem?
Yes, I don't know exactly your business, but there is no need. It's very simple to do it. You need to have a budget for the year, right? For your indirect expenses. That budget, of course, it may change. You need to adjust, but the direct product cost, you should have a good handle on it.
Yeah, I think the toughest part is projection of first startup sales, because it was more on the, and that's the, so scaling it in a very, that I think that's why I'm glad I'm on the call, just to kind of get some info, and a lot of what you've shared is spot on. I'm at that stage where I haven't stepped off the curb and done all of my LLC paperwork, and I'm going to do something in Pennsylvania through the PLCB, which is just another challenge and another area that I have to protect myself through. So that's why.
Kevin, do you have a mentor?
I don't yet. I'm trying to. I went through the entire list that we had on SCORE, and I didn't see any that had some retail direct or any distilling alcohol Pennsylvania aspect in there. So if you know of one, or I could capture that, that would be incredible.
You know, my suggestion is, instead of trying to find a perfect ideal mentor that have all the experience, you know, the financial management is the same regardless of your business.
Sure.
Okay. The organization of a LLC is the same regardless of business. Maybe there are some permits that are specific for the activity that you are going to engage, but there is a lot in common that other mentors can help you.
No,
And regarding projection, it's difficult, but this is a learning process. If you don't do it and don't find the problems, and you are not going to learn. I work for a corporation that have tons of accountants, but I had to do the projection for business for the following year. And even though I had all the history, what happened the previous year, that's not sufficient to guarantee that the next year is going to be the same. So it's a problem that every business has. But in fact, you are the best person to do the best judgment of the forecast moving forward, because you know the product, you know the market, you know your customers.
Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with Al Cook on the CapEx. I have the financial intestinal fortitude for initial losses, but it's just that CapEx and looking at the horizon over where's my break even? Is it after 24 months, 36? So I agree with you. I need a good mentor that can sit me down and work through it.
By the way, you need to work with a break even much sooner than that.
Yeah.
6 months, unless you have a huge amount of money that can support that. But you need to do this startup when it's the right time, and make sure that you have a shortest possible break-even point.
Well, yeah, my benchmark on my, I've got the 12, 24, 36, 5, and then 10 year. I've kind of mapped it all out. I need to get through all of the political red tape in Pennsylvania to kind of figure out what my fees are for getting establishment, to getting the appropriate licensing. But yeah, I'm still 6 to 12 months away from really kicking and launching. That's why this is my very first one, and I've signed up for all of them, because I've gleaned, if you can glean just a few jewels out of each one of them, you win. So your stuff has been very valuable tonight. So thank you very much for your sharing on your PowerPoint.
Are you familiar with, do you use the Excel spreadsheet?
I am very proficient at Excel, yes.
Oh, then you,
Start there.
it's half of the work.
Yeah.
I'm just in the capture phase of all of my, because I need hard numbers. I don't have a ton of money. I'm not looking to throw money into a fire, but I understand that I've got to make that initial investment. And
right.
Yeah, no, this is very good. I'm looking forward to more of these modules so I can keep capturing info. But I agree with you. I need to dial in a local mentor, because I'm in the Doylestown area, so I don't want to have to travel all the way to Lower Bucks.
No,
we're
zooming it.
It's all Zoom. You don't have to travel anywhere.
You don't have to go anywhere, but from one room to the next.
That's it, just to your computer. And you can go onto the website, buckscountyscore.org, push the button that says, I want a mentor, and voila, you'll have one.
Yes.
This was great. But thank you so much. I'm glad it was an intimate group, because this
it worked out well, didn't it?
Yeah, I like intimate.
If you're interested on this template, I can send you if that helps you.
I'm sorry, say that again.
If you're interested, I can send you this template.
No, you know what? I've been keeping copious notes, so thank you so much. I'm good. I have a lot of this. Unfortunately, I've lived 32 years in corporate America, so it's time for me to find the escape hatch and get away and start my own deal.
Very good. Good
Many
luck.
of us can identify with that.
Yes.
Oh man, it's tough.
Tell it. Well, I believe that you get the PowerPoints anyway for registering.
Yes,
if I'm not
and
mistaken.
it's
Super.
also being recorded, so you'll get the playback if you need it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. This is a great resource. I appreciate all that you're doing.
All right. Awesome. Very good. Any other questions? Thank you, Robin. I know you chimed on a little later. We see you, Darlene. Thank you for chiming in. Anyone have anything else? And then I guess we can close, right, Linda?
Yeah, it's getting on to 8:30. So if there's any other discussion anyone like to bring up, now would be the time.
No, as long as I can get a recording, that would be great.
Yeah. Hi, Darlene. Yes, you can.
Hi.
Awesome.
Very good.
All right.
And how you
Very
making
good.
out? Because Robin's here from Texas. So how are you making out over there, Robin? Come
Oh,
on.
wow. Okay.
You there?
Yeah, things are still pretty tough over here in Texas.
Okay.
Oh,
Going
wow.
back and forth with the power on and off, no water. So I was without power for almost 30 hours.
Mhm.
Wow.
And then after they finally got the power on, they turned the water off.
Ah.
Back and forth. My
Wow.
daughter's house flooded. So
Oh,
it's
my
been
God.
crazy over here. And then her best friend, which I call my daughter too, she goes home and wasn't even home a good 10 minutes. They hear water breaking through something, and then her laundry room is flooded.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that's why I was later logging on.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But thank you for taking the time. And Robin, you get to see Linda's face. Linda, that's Robin.
Hi, Robin.
I gotta connect.
Nice to meet you. And
Nice to meet you.
I have to connect you two offline. So,
Okay. We will connect offline. All right. Sounds good.
okay.
so
All right. Well, Al, that was wonderful. I know that everybody, including the mentors on the call, enjoyed it and learned a lot. And those slides are invaluable. I like the one where you rate each one of the factors and come up with the percentage so you can figure out your pricing. I think that's great. I'm going to use that with my clients who are struggling with pricing. So that was awesome. Marissa, thank you for doing this. I know that you have a busy schedule, and to sit at 7 o'clock at night and do this for a few more hours for us is
it was worth it. It's really worth it.
appreciated. And I thank all of you for your participation. I think I like this format the best, where we just share with each other and it's a little bit more informal. So thank you all for coming, and I hope that we'll see you at the next one, which is March what?
It's March. We are the 3rd. It's the 18th.
18th, right? March 18th. Topic is?
Oh, we don't have the topic yet. So just keep an eye out.
Well, you'll get an email. Know you'll get a lot of emails, right? So thank you all for being with us.
Thank you so much.
See you next time. Thanks, Al.
Okay.
There you are, Al.
Hi.
What's up, Big Al?
You're the big Al.
Great job. Yeah, great job, namesake.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Good night.
We're gonna put your name in lights.
There you go. Have that on your truck. You can ride around with
There you go.
Al Casadei. Yeah. The man.
Take care.
All right.
Good night.